What is it that you would like to have as your life? What would you like to create? What would you like to choose? Welcome to Discovering the Miracle of You podcast. I am your host, Rachael O'Brien, and I invite you to know that you can change anything in your life that is not working for you, and you can create anything you desire. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my very first podcast. And its name is Discovering the Miracle of You. So my name is Rachael O'Brien, and I chose to start this podcast simply because I have gone through so much transformation in the last 13 years. And I live a very beautiful, peaceful, joyful life. And 13 years ago, that wasn't the case at all. And what I have gone through in the way that I live my life is nothing short of miraculous. And so Einstein says there's two ways to live. One, as if miracles don't occur. And two, as if miracles occur everywhere. And just so you know this, when you're listening to this podcast, I am one of the people who know that miracles can occur everywhere in every moment. And so what does a miracle mean? It's a shift in a perception. It's a shift in a point of view. It's a shift in something that you believe is real and true, actually transforming and turning out that it is not real and true. So let's go back to 2012, and I was extremely depressed. And I would say that I didn't even know how depressed I was. And by depressed, I'm talking about there was no living. I had lost my joy. I had it when I was playing with my kids every now and then, but mainly my life was being run by points of views and judgments. I had to work hard for money. I had to be the right mother. I had to look right. I had to put on an image for the world. Outside in the world, everyone thought she's gorgeous, she's a great life. And inside, that was not the case. I was depressed. I was miserable. I was thinking all the time, okay? Thinking, trying to get everything right. And one of the things that was destroying my living was I had massive judgment of myself. I was wrong. What's wrong with me? How come I couldn't fit in? How come I couldn't be like other people in the world? And I was comparing me to everyone. There's a line in a beautiful song, Grateful. It's called Grateful. And it says, comparison will kill your joy. So actually, I was killing my joy when I was comparing me to everyone. Now, so what changed in 2012? My sister, my beautiful sister, she lives in the US now, in Sarasota. She called me up and she said, hey, there's this thing coming to the City Hall in Cork. There was a big spiritual event on, I would say, and a wellness event. And she said, it's called Access Consciousness. And I'm not sure why, but I get this hit that you've got to be there. Now, what I call that is gut instinct. Another name for it can be like deep knowing, like knowing that you know that you've got to be here. In fact, one of the things that I have learned with myself is the times that I knew I can trust me, because the times that I knew not to do something or not to go somewhere, it always turned out to be correct and true information. So I have learned to trust what I know through choosing things that I knew that wouldn't work and then being correct, and that was true information. And that's funny to me because we learn from choice, from choosing what doesn't work. We learn to what does work. So my sister, I met her, it was it was a Friday night. And we went into the City Hall and we looked around and I saw the stand saying Access Consciousness, empowering you to know what you know. Wow, empowering you to know what you know. Now at this stage, I am going to be very open about this and I'm still recovering from this. I had not ever gone inwards and really developed a relationship with myself to trust what I know. I was constantly looking for external validation. I was like a puppy. Will you love me? Will you see me? People pleasing. My value was in looking after other people's needs, wants, desires. My value was in making other people happy. And so I was a big seeker of validation, external validation, and that was not fun. That was not making my life more happy, more joyous, and I certainly wasn't free when I was looking for validation in others. And so what was the fabric of my reality at that time, and I can talk about that now, I didn't know and have that information at that time, was judgment. And so I went into the city hall and I got this therapy called Access the Bars Run. Now, let me tell you about Access the Bars. It comes from Access Consciousness. It was channeled actually by a being called Rasputin through Gary Douglas, who is the creator of Access Consciousness. If you don't know what channeling is, it's when another being steps into the body and it gifts information. It's a bit weird, but you know what? I was at the stage in my life that I didn't care what I would have to choose or where I would have to go. I knew that my life required drastic change if I was going to actually live. Okay. And so I go in and I have my bars run. They're run by touching points on your head, and they're bars where you have points of views and judgments locked in your body. And I didn't even recognize this because everything is an energetic building block. But I had a lot of points of views locked into my body around what it is to be a wife, what it is to be a mother, what it is to work. And so the bars are so simple. By gently touching these points on your head, you actually release programming of judgment, which is for me today, I'm still in wonder. I use this practice every week, probably 3 times a week, because it works. It creates me not being in reaction to what's going on in the world around me or with the people around me. It actually puts me in action of creating the way that I would like to live and what I desire. That's another Access Consciousness tool. Reactive realities. Are you reacting to someone's point of view, or are you receiving their viewpoint? I will go into the tools of Access Consciousness on a deeper level as we go through these podcasts. So what I want to start with today is the main 2 things that transform my life is no judgment and getting my bars run. And so I lay on a table and I got my bars run and I started crying. And I genuinely didn't even know why I was crying. There was this sense of like relief that I had been like holding judgments, points of views about myself in that were actually destroying me. They were very destructive to my body and to me. And so I immediately was lighter. Okay, we talk about this. What's true is light, what's heavy is a lie. And that's an easy one. If you, anything energetically, if you walk into the meeting room or the lunchroom in the place you work, is the energy heavy or is the energy light? If it's light, it will gift you more energy. You'll start to become more playful, more joyful. If it's heavy, it's like a black hole. And so I would say my first session for me, some people, they take 10 or 20 sessions. For me, I immediately started to have a sense of like lightness. And what I remember about the session, there are 2 things. Number one, there was a little girl with her mom, and she was walking around the stall. Her mom was one of the practitioners gifting bars. She was the sweetest. Do you ever see these soft, sweet beings that are like angels in the body? And I looked at her and I remembered I used to be like that as a kid, that level of generosity of spirit. And she was like, hi. And she was just open and soft and playful and joyful. And so getting my bars run, I started to look at what occurred between me being that age and I was 40. Yeah, I was 40 at the time. What occurred that I got so serious and so heavy, you know? And so I started looking at that. And then the second thing that still puts me in wonder when I get my bars run is when I walked outside the door of the city hall, I heard the birds flapping. I saw the sky in a new way. I saw the beauty of the planet. And I didn't have this sense of like disconnection. Here am I on my own with all these walls. Like I had the sense that I was behind like a glass wall trying to touch living, that I was locked out of enjoying the earth, the planet. And so immediately I started to have that sense of being really in communion with the trees, with the sky, with the bird. And it was a very warm, safe, secure, nurturing sensation. And so I was sick. I actually was sick with really heavy periods and fibroid cysts. And immediately I felt better. And then the next day, I said to my husband at the time, I'm going to go again. And he was like a super cool guy. Whatever you have to do, Rachel, to make your life greater, you go. And he still is. We're no longer married. And we still talk all the time, which is miraculous. And so I went and had my bars run again. And I immediately, the work resonated with me. And a lot of people that I coach and facilitate, they tell me that what I say goes directly into their deep core. And mostly, I'm pretty sure they're talking about what I speak is true. So it resonates with what they know, that gut feeling. And so I immediately felt lighter, immediately felt different, more space, happier. I was laughing, I had become very serious. And the Sunday I said to my sister, there was a training in Dublin the following Thursday. It was a 5-day training, actually. There was the bars, that's a bars class. You can find them in 172 countries. If you're looking for something different, it is super different. It works. I didn't care once it worked. It worked for me immediately. And so there's a bars class. It takes a 1-day training. You can go and learn it and you can use it forever. That was 13 years ago now, and I'm still using it as a stress relief therapy in my day. And then there's other classes, which is foundation, and they're 4-day classes. And so I remember saying, I'm going. Didn't even look at like financials. I just have to be here. If I don't go here, like I just require this. And I wasn't willing to deprive myself of it, which is a big choice for me, to allow myself to have this 5-day training. And I think at the time it was quite expensive, like €1,400. I had 3 kids, I had a mortgage, I had all the things that come with having a family, young kids, being involved in activities, all their daily requirements. And I rang my husband, I said, I'm going. He said, go for it. So I went off and I did bars and foundation. And in that class, I had many miracles, which is shift in perception. I had a lot of compression locked into my body. I didn't even know this until this class, because a lot of the stuff that I had done through training was like head mind stuff, mind well-being, mindfulness. And I'm not saying any of this is right or wrong or good or bad. I just hadn't come across work that actually talks about what's locked in your body, like what's in your cellular memory. And so in this class, first of all, the bars is about your body becoming free from points of views and judgments. And then the foundation is really looking at the judgments that you've built your whole life on. And what that may look like is you might have decided that money is a problem, okay? And then you will build your whole life, and let's say you've built a 12-inch foundation. No, not 12-inch, more like 6 foot. Not great with measurements, people. So let's say you built a 6-foot foundation. And under the foundation is a point of view that money is hard, or that I'm going to take my biggest point of view, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, I don't matter. And so you have these points of views, and then you pour in the foundation, then you pour in the house, then you put the whole building, and then you build everything around this. And it wasn't until foundation that I had recognized that I had built my whole life around there was something radically wrong with me. And this was spilling out, hemorrhaging, bleeding out everywhere into my life, into my relationships, because I was always trying to compensate that there is something radically wrong with me, which is a judgment. And it is a judgment that a lot of people like me actually believe is true about them. So that now leads me into the judgment part of this. So let's talk about judgment. What is it? It is, this is right. This is the right way to do it. This is wrong. This is the wrong, bad choice. This is good. Good girl. Do it this way, Rachel. Good girl. Follow the rules. Follow the regulations. Right, wrong, good, and bad. This is the bad way. Don't get angry. That's wrong. That's bad. And so these 4 things lead you into a black, empty hole of no fun, no joy, no lightness, and no living. And so when I came across this information that all judgment stops you from receiving, which is now it's taught in the Access Bars class, I immediately got it. It immediately made sense. Now, here's the deal. You can ask this question to yourself. Was I born with judgment, or was it something that I learned to do, and was I trained to judge? Okay, so when I asked this, I immediately recognized that I wasn't born from judgment, but I was very entrained. I grew up Irish Catholic, very religious family, say the rosary every night, go to mass on a Sunday. I was very much trained to follow the rules, be a good girl. And so I had all these judgments that were put into our world subtly over time, what it is to be the right girl, what it is to be the good girl, what it is to be the wrong girl, what it is to be the bad girl. And so all judgment stops you from receiving you. And you can even ask right now, what viewpoints and judgments have I taken in and locked into my body that doesn't allow me to enjoy being alive and enjoy having a body? Now I'm going to introduce something that's called the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. And it's like a magic wand. Again, you don't have to figure it out. Don't trust me. Just use it and see, does your daily living become more joyful, more freer? Do you have more freedom? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 shorts, boys, POVADs, creations, based and beyonds. In the show notes, we'll add in the clearing statement. You can go and you can learn some more about it. For me, I just use it. Short version, pot and pock. The point of creation of the point of view and the point of destruction of that viewpoint now, so that you can be free to have choice. So we've talked about 2 things that had created miracles for me. And I had created miracles with the use of these tools, the bars, and no judgment. So when I'm talking about discovering the miracle of you, I'm talking about discovering the changes that you can create and receive when you are not judging you. So let's recap. When I walked in to get my bars run that Friday night, I had a lot of judgments of me, and I didn't know at the time. We have a lot of scientific evidence since about the effect that judgment has on your cells, and it creates disease in your cells. We have way more information now that judgment creates anxiety. I can't do this. I can't cope with this. I'm overwhelmed. It all creates compression in your body. Okay. And they're massive control systems. And so I didn't know that judgment was actually crippling my life, and points of views about myself were destroying my life. So I have these beautiful cards called The Miracle of You, and one of them says, remember, I'll show it you guys. Remember that your words, thoughts, feelings, and emotions create your life. So my words, I'm not good enough, what's wrong with me, they were creating heaviness, 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 and they were destroying my happiness. And so the bars allowed me to get my laughter back. Like as a little kid, I was always laughing and joking, and I had cousins that were like so much fun and so much joy, and there was so much play. Of course, there was a lot of not play stuff in the house that I live too, but we'll go into that further in other series, how your environment and where you grew up influences your relationship with yourself, okay? And so I immediately started to become freer when I had my bars run. And then using the no judgment tool, it shifted everything. So if you'd like to get your bars run, go check the Access website. Number 2, judgment. So then how do we deal with judgment? See, this is what I love about the tools. They empower me, Rachel, to have a different possibility in my life, no matter what the problem is. So let's say you have a judgment of what's wrong with me. Now, here's my favorite tool, interesting point of view. What is the position that you're taking and that you're viewing yourself when you say there is something wrong with me? You're judging yourself that you're wrong, that there is something wrong with you. But what if that's not true? Here's the question. Is judgment real and true? No. Now, I can find all the reasons and justifications to tell you I'm very good at that. What is wrong with me? That makes me giggle. How many of you out there are brilliant at reasoning and justifying what is wrong with you? What's right about you that you're not getting? And so everything that I thought was wrong with me turned out to be a strongness and a greatness about me. It wasn't that I was wrong. It was that I didn't know that, number 1, judgment destroys me, my body, and my reality. It makes me non-functional. And that has been a big and an ongoing journey of me discovering the miracle of me. And so what if judgment is not real and true? Now what? What if you could have the strength of being an interesting point of view with yourself? Interesting point of view, I have this point of view that I'm wrong. Interesting position that I'm viewing myself from, that I am wrong. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Is that true? Is that real? Or is it a lie? So all judgment is the lie that stops you and inhibits you from creating what you would like to have in your life. And so when I recognized that I was very addicted to the point of view that there's something wrong with me and very addicted to judgment, when I would use this tool, interesting point of view, immediately I would start to get lighter, and then I would just go on with my day or take a look at what would I like to have as my life? Am I willing to like myself today? Oh, most people actually hate themselves and they hate their lives. Am I willing to like me today? Am I willing to enjoy being alive? Am I willing to enjoy having a body? And so this questioning of the points of views and the judgments that you've taken on started me on the journey of recognizing how much judgment was influencing the way that I was living. And that started to change for me very, very quickly after that foundation class. Now, miracle story time, because I have a lot of miracle stories that I will share with you in the hope that they will activate the miracles that you received from this magnanimous universe that never judges. It's not malevolent, doesn't ever punish you. It's always looking to gift you. When I was driving from Dublin to Cork on the Monday night after the class, I got a phone call from the dad of my kids, and he said, Rach, we just got a rebate of €1,401 from the Irish revenue. And that was the amount of money to cover the class. I'm pretty sure the class was €900. And so I learned immediately that it's not about the money when you would like to have something, because I was very good at depriving myself and using money as a justification of my judgments of money. I was willing to have it. I was willing to receive it. And the universe went, ta-da! And that's, for me, the miracle of you is your ability to ask for what you would like to have, receive it, and allow consciousness to gift to you. The universe loves you. The universe wants to support you. The universe wants to gift you everything. Are you depriving yourself? Are you allowing yourself to receive that? And I am going to say, vulnerable moment. It took me a while to really recognize the places that I was depriving myself. I can't have this because of this limitation, and start to allow the possibilities that the universe was gifting me in. And so there's another question that you can ask yourself today. Am I willing to allow the miraculous possibilities that the universe has for me into my living today, into my life today? Or have I already concluded that this day is going to be difficult and hard and it's just another, day doing the same thing? What if it isn't? What if you could see the beauty of a lily today, or the miracle of a tree and its gifting properties? So, to come to a close on my first podcast, start to play with the tools. Is judgment real and true? Is this point of view real and true? If this point of view isn't real and true, now what can I choose? What is available to me? And the big takeaway that I would love you guys to have, reading it from my card, remember that your words, thoughts, feelings, and emotions create your life. I went from not being able to work because I got sick with my body, not creating money, not enjoying my beautiful children who are now very much adult children creating their own living, more to come on that, to actually being at peace with me again, which is having peace with yourself and coming out of conflict. All judgment creates conflict, is the greatest gift that I have given myself, that I do not have conflict. I'm certainly not perfect. I certainly haven't got it all worked out in my life. I am peaceful and mostly I'm happy. And so to go from being sick and from being compressed and contracted in my body to going into relaxation, which is space. You can also ask, do I require some space? One of my favorite questions. When you are relaxed and you allow yourself space, which is what the bars gifted me and the no judgment tools gifted me, then you truly can access your communion with the universe and start to bring to fruition the living that you would like to have. If I did it, I truly know anyone can do it. You can change anything. Your point of view creates your reality. So that's it for my first podcast. Making a podcast isn't easy. It is really about letting your voice be allowing my voice and my change and the gift that I've received, allowing me to gift that to the world, allowing yourself to be heard. And so I grew up in Ireland where, keep it quiet, keep it down, suppress, and to be able to talk on this podcast and to be able to talk about the changes that I've received is quite miraculous for me. I had panic attacks. I had anxiety. I couldn't go outside the door because I was like so compressed. And now it is a true miracle that I can come on here and that I can share the tools that allowed and the choices that I made, because you've got to be willing to make different choices to have a different way of living, is quite miraculous. So what miracles are you capable of that you haven't recognized? And the other thing, if you're smiling and you're laughing in our world today, in a world where there's so much conflict, so much drama, so much difficulty, so many problems, you are a possibility to this world that has never existed before. So thank you for listening wherever you are in the world. I hope this conversation contributes to you. And just for today, my life will be a celebration. And I'm going to have a lovely lunch and celebrate that I just actually had the courage to talk about the miracles that I have received through choice, through using the bars and using the tools of access consciousness. Know that you are loved wherever you are in the world, and that consciousness has your back. And are you willing to have your own back? Mwah, mwah, mwah. See you the next time. Bye for now.